Alrighty, let's go. We are back with another episode of the Squishy Sports Podcast, bringing you the latest news from around the sporting globe, my thoughts on the latest NRL and NRLW rounds, my thoughts on the Warriors win over the Titans on the weekend, and my thoughts on the All Blacks loss against Argentina as well. We'll deep dive a little bit into week one in the NFL. We are a couple weeks away, and of course, we'll get into my Women's Player of the Week, which is where we'll kick off the show. So we're heading over to the US. We're going to hop into the WNBA this week. It's a rookie for the Dallas Wings. Her name is Paige Beckers, as she is a rookie for the Dallas Wings. Get a load of this game. A couple days ago, 44 points, which is the most by a rookie in WNBA history, which is pretty insane. She went 17 out of 21 from the field, 81%. This is also a record, the first WNBA player in history to score 40 plus points with over an 80% field goal accuracy, which is insane. That also included going 4 from 4 from 3 from the arc, which is so impressive. 6 from 6 from the free throw line. It just finished today, unfortunately, but that was her 29th game in a row, scoring in double digits as well. So for a rookie, that is absolutely insane. That was the third most in the WNBA for consecutive games with double-digit points. She is also leading all rookies in points, assists, and steals. So full credit to Paige Beckers. She gets my Women's Player of the Week. So impressive. Quickly jumping into the other sporting news around the globe, we just had the US Open tennis start today as well at Flushing Meadows in New York. I know Medvedev, he had an early round one loss. I know Djokovic got through okay. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, they are still, in the men's, your two clear-cut favourites for this title. They are most likely going to be playing each other in the final again in a couple weeks. It'll be the third consecutive Grand Slam final playing each other. I really do think this is turning over the page, as we're seeing, like Federer versus Nadal. These two are going to have some awesome matches in the future. We've already seen some absolute classics as well. These two are going to be around for years and years. Yannick's number one in the world at the moment. He's had a couple issues with, I believe he's been ill. He's also had some issues with like your PEDs as well. So very interesting. I'm a big Carlos fan. I love the flair that he has. So similar to Rafa, which made Rafa so great. So it'd be super interesting where this can take us. As I said, US Open just started today. Couple weeks time, we'll know our winner, which is super exciting. In the ladies' side, Iga Swiatek and Sabalenka, they are your two favorites as well. Coco Gauff, she's from America as well. It's her home turf. She's third favorite. So she's expected to be around the semi-final sort of stage. She's very, very sneaky. She can definitely easily pull off the upset. That would be huge for American tennis. The next generation, the Williams sisters have come, they've gone through. Serena, she's won 24 Grand Slam titles, I believe, off the top of my head. Coco's the next one coming through. So it would be awesome for American sport and American tennis if she was able to do it at home as well. Quickly, staying in America, we'll quickly touch on baseball a bit. So the latest news around baseball, I've just got on my notes here. The commissioner of the MLB, so Rob Manfred, he has hinted at major changes ahead. So it could be a bit of an expansion in the works from 30 to 32 teams, which would result in a potential realignment of the divisions as well, which is actually quite cool. Dissolving potentially the two conferences that they play in as well, or the league. So you got the American League and you got the National League. So the division includes a 32-team league, 8 divisions of 4. You got new cities potentially like Nashville, which would be pretty cool, and Portland. Exciting regional rivalries. So the Yankees and the Mets could be in the same division, which is pretty insane. They're not even in the same league or conference at the moment. They even had a chance to play each other in the World Series last year for the Subway Series. Didn't quite come to fruition. Dodgers did get the Mets in the playoffs last year. But these moves could also be tied to stadium redevelopments as well. So your Rays have just had to start either renovating the stadium or building a new one from the cyclone that went through there earlier this year it was, or late last year it was, I believe. And then you got a team like the Athletics. They're based in Sacramento at the moment. There's word around town, potentially like Vegas as a baseball team. You never know. It'd be good to kind of see Athletics get a bit more involved in the baseball. I really don't mind them. They just don't have much of a fan base. So anything to try and drive in more fans, it's going to be only growing the game even more. And that's what you want to see. You want to see more local fans cheering for their local team. And you want to see these sports get bigger in certain towns. So I'll touch that on a little bit in regards to a team getting bigger in their town and why I would like to see it. We'll catch that on in another sport later on. The Yankees today, they avoided a sweep by the Red Sox. They won 7-2 against Boston on Sunday Night Baseball, but man, that was pretty rough 2 games before it. I believe that was in the last 10 games before today. They'd gone like 9-1 against their arch rival Boston. They're sitting third in the division now behind, I believe it's Toronto and Boston as well. But they're just bombing games. They just don't look good. Like, you know, their closers, especially Devin Williams, he can't close a game for shit at the moment. It's just what's going on in the Bronx. Like, they've got this team to easily make it to the playoffs and even go far in the playoffs like we saw them do last year. I just don't know if they have the mental strength. I just don't know. Like, we've seen it year and year. They're not managed well. They don't have a good owner. They don't have a good GM either. So we'll see. We'll see where this Yankee team's heads up. The Brewers, they are still the first, coming first in the league. They were also the first to reach 80 wins for the league, which no one would have picked whatsoever. They had a gut-wrenching loss against the Giants today. They were up 4-3 in the ninth, the Giants down to their last out, and I believe it was Loris Ramos hit a 2-out single or double. Giants get 2 runs, go up 5-4 in the ninth, and then get the 3 outs to finish off the game. I don't believe they're going to make the playoffs this year, Giants, but that was a huge win. Absolutely massive scalp against the Brewers today. And then we'll quickly touch on the, just going back to the Brewers, sorry. They're definitely obviously going to make the playoffs. They've got a 99.9% chance of making the playoff. They're probably going to go straight to the divisional series as well. Can they do anything, though? That's the thing. It's going to be a best-of-7 series. They're going to have their 2 games at home. But do they have what it takes to go through the division series into your championship, like your conference series, to try and win the pennant? I'm not sure. Like, it's definitely been a really good season by the Brewers. They've been absolutely regular season kings this year. They went on a 14 win streak. They've had walk-off home runs. They've had come from behind victories. It has seemed like a really, really good year for the Brewers, but it doesn't matter come postseason. Come October, all gets wiped away. Doesn't matter when the crunch time matters. We'll see. I'm super excited for the postseason to see what happens. I think Mariners are a sneaky chance. I think the Padres, they're a sneaky chance. They've got a loaded team. Dodgers are still your favorites, like quite large favorites as well. Be about $3.50. Your Brewers are paying about $8 at the moment. So we'll see. Can the Dodgers go back to back? Maybe. I don't know. I'll quickly touch on them. I don't think they've been quite the same. Like, admittedly, yeah, they absolutely smashed the Padres today, 8-2. But they lost a series before that. So they lost a series 2-1 against their rival Padres. It does bring them back to level on games 1 in their division. They are back tied with the Padres. They just have a little bit of a better difference. Who wins that NL West is going to be a huge, huge one coming into the postseason, because that will get them straight to the divisional series rather than having to play that wild card best of 3 games straight through to the next round. It's going to be massive. So if the Padres can win that division, that is going to be huge for them. I said they go straight through to the NLDS, which is massive. So Pour one out for the Rockies fans. They are the first team in the league to be eliminated from playoff contention. Man, they've been absolutely stink this year. They were out of playoff contention a long, long time ago, but they officially, mathematically cannot make it anymore. They've had some crazy games this year. I know they beat the Pirates 17-16 in a game. They were down 9-0 as well after the first inning in that game. But nothing much going on in Colorado, honestly. They'll be looking to next season. The golf. He's done it. He's finally done it. Tommy Fleetwood. He's won the Tour Championship. He's won the FedEx Cup along with that as well. About $15 million in the pocket. He's had a 3-shot victory today over, I believe it was Cantlay and also Henley. Scheffler was in the mix as well. But it was just so good to see Tommy. He plays so solid as well today. Fully deserved it. Got the monkey off his back. I saw a video of him this week on about a Tuesday, what his thoughts on this year. And he said, close, but no cigar. And he's finally got the bloody cigar. He's got the dub. Man, it must feel so good for him, especially coming to Ryder Cup. That's in a couple weeks. That is going to be amazing. But as I said, it's so good to see Tommy finally get the breakthrough. He had an awesome chance a couple weeks ago at the Travelers. I believe we did cover that a bit in my first episode. Couple shot lead, coming to the back nine. We kind of knew what we were going to expect, unfortunately, and that's exactly what happened. He had a couple bogeys in the back nine and couldn't even make the playoff, unfortunately. But today, when it mattered, he had a couple birdies in the back nine and just played his game. He played solid and did what he had to do. I believe he had a 2-under final round. Exactly what he needed to do. He gets the win. He wins the Tour Championship. He wins the season-long FedEx Cup. And as I said, for a European with the Ryder Cup 2 weeks away, that is going to be huge at Bethpage Black. So we've had automatic qualifiers now from both teams. Pretty much the seasons have just finished. From the USA, you've got, pretty obvious, you've got 6 so far. You've got Scheffler, JJ Spawn, who's the US Open champion, Xander Schauffele, a couple of majors last year, Harris English being in really good form, Russell Henley, as we saw, top 5 today, and Bryson DeChambeau. We know what this guy can do. Not on the PGA Tour, he's on LIV. We know the power he's got. Won the US Open last year. This guy is so good. So they're your 6 automatic qualifiers so far for the US team. You got your players, of course, like your Justin Thomas, Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay. He got top 5 today. He'll be in the team for sure. Very interesting to see where they do go with the other 3 picks, though. I'm very intrigued to see what Keegan Bradley does. I do definitely think one of those 3 has to be himself. He's had a couple wins this year. He's been unreal. And similar to Tiger back in 2019, like, if you know you're good enough and you're playing well enough, you're beating these same guys every week that you're going to be playing against. Yes, Keegan Bradley isn't a Tiger Woods, but why not? Back yourself. He's going to be a playing captain, but he's going to have so much assistance from his assistant captains. They'll be doing a lot of the work so he can focus a lot on his golf and playing. But I fully believe he has to be there playing for the US. He is clearly easily the top 10 in that Ryder Cup team for the US, 100%. I think it's unanimous that he plays. I think he has to back himself. I do think he has to play. In regards to Europe, also taking shape, we've had our 6 now as well. We just had our 6 confirmed earlier this morning. Pretty straight off the bat, your 5, they're going to be there. Rory McIlroy, of course. Tommy Fleetwood after today. Justin Rose had a win a couple weeks ago. Bobby McIntyre, who's just had a win on the PGA Tour this season as well, not too long ago. And then you got Tyrrell Hatton as well, the hothead, but he's going to be awesome for the Ryder Cup team. Shane Lowry, he is expected definitely to be there as well. And the 6th qualifier, he actually won on the European Tour this morning, or the DP World Tour, sorry, Rasmus Højgaard. He's a young fella from Norway, or Denmark, sorry. He will be there as well. He's an automatic selection as a 6th pick, which is really good to see. So I'd love to see his brother, Nikolai, be there as well. So we'll see. Can both brothers play? Maybe. Your wild cards that you're looking at, your other four that Luke Donald is most likely going to pick and definitely should pick. Victor Hovland, one of the best players in the world. Ludwig Oberg, one of the best young talents in the world. How can you not pick him? Sepp Straka and Matt Fitzpatrick. They're going to be four guys I would most likely see. So that's 10 there from Europe. 2 spots left. So completely, we'll see what happens with there. You got your Sergios, you got your Matt Wallace. Harry Hall is up there as well. So really excited. Teeing off in a couple of weeks as a Bethpage Black. Europeans looking to defend their title from a couple of years ago in Rome. They have not won in the US since Medina in about 2011. So it's been a long time. They're definitely capable though. Bethpage can do some funny things. Thick rough, they thicken it up. They'll probably favourite to the Americans a little bit. So they'll shorten the rough a little bit just so they can bomb it, get it down there, softer greens. If they were to make it long rough, harder greens, more US Open style, I would be backing the Europeans every day of the week there. Quickly touch on the cricket. The Aussies have just finished up a ODI series of 3 games against South Africa during the week. Pretty much all played like in North Queensland. I believe they had a game in like Cairns. They had one in like Darwin as well. I believe in like Mackay, like the Great Barrier Reef Stadium, it said. South Africa won the first 2 ODIs quite convincingly. But holy heck, did Aussie push it on yesterday or the day before if you're listening to this in their 3rd ODI. Let's go quickly through it. They won the 3rd ODI. They batted first. They won it by 276 runs. They finished on 2 for 431 from their 50 overs. I believe it was their biggest ever ODI score in Australia, 431. They didn't lose their first wicket for, I want to say like around the 180 mark. So they were none for 180. Head all up for 142. He opened the batting. Cam Green came in after he went 118 not out. Really good actually to see Cam Green get a good score into the 50s and then build onto it and then get his century from there and even finish on not out as well. He'll be super confident about that and that'll give him some really good confidence, especially heading to the Ashes. We're really curious to see if he was going to be in that all-rounder in the team. He was injured a little bit last year. Mitch Marsh, he turned up as well. He finished on 100. He got out for 100. He opened the batting with Travis Head. Awesome batting. Kerry came in at your number 4 as well. He finished on 50 not out. So 3 Australians made a century in that ODI, which is absolutely unheard of. The South Africa bowling is not too much to be desired. Mulder, he went from 7 overs. He went none for 93. That's about 13 and over. And then South Africa came into bat and just could not get anything going. They got absolutely smashed. All out for 155 in just a tickle under 25 overs. Cooper Connolly, what a performance. He went 5 for 22. He's the youngest ever to get a fifer in ODI history, I believe, or even the youngest Australian to get a fifer. He's like 22 years old. Which is crazy to think about. So, not necessarily a test player. He's definitely more an ODI and definitely a T20 sort of player. But after that, like, he's more known for his batting. How can you not pick him in that team? So, good to see. Aussie, they don't play until I believe about October now. They play some T20s against New Zealand, actually in New Zealand. So, bit of that before they get prepped for the Ashes series in November. And that is, it starts about mid-November. I believe the first test is in Perth. And, that's just going to be what we all get excited for, what we all want to see. A flashback to 4 years ago, Mitch Starc running at Rory Burns, first ball at the Gabba, absolutely bowled him over. Even as just a neutral and a fan of cricket, it's still one of the best moments that you see in cricket, and you literally get goosebumps seeing it over and over. That's what you want to see at the start of the Ashes. So, as I said, super duper excited for that to get on the way. We'll quickly touch on the NFL. As I said, we are less than 2 weeks away now from week one. The opening kickoff is in about 11 days now on the Friday morning here. Dallas against Philly. Philly 6.5 point favorites. Micah Parsons, it looks like he will be. I'm not sure if he's going to play week one. It definitely looks like he will be staying at Dallas for sure. They've had a couple trade offers for Parsons, literally like couple first rounders with a couple fifths. Like that is literally the extent of what you'll have to trade to try and get this guy. Dallas let me tell you this. Dallas never, ever in a million years will trade Micah Parsons. Ever. He will only leave if his contract is finishing up and he is just not fit for Dallas anymore. Another team will take him up. But as long as Micah is healthy and happy there, he will never, ever be leaving Dallas. Ever. Like, he's the best defensive player in the whole game. Maybe apart from Myles Garrett. You got your Joey Bosa there. You got TJ Watt as well. But, I mean, Micah Parsons, he's in his fourth year now, I believe. He's not going anywhere. He's probably going to be signing the biggest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback player. Jerry's going to pull out the wallet. Micah's going to get paid. Whether he starts around week one is going to be huge for Dallas. Only because I'm really not sure about the defense. And it's going to be an interesting game. I don't really rate Philly's defense either. I think it will be so high scoring. If Micah's not playing, they've got not a lot of pass rush. Safeties aren't good. The secondary isn't good. What we've also known from Dallas is how good their offense can be. So I think these two teams will bounce off each other a little bit. I'm expecting a lot of points. I'm expecting a lot of the ball in the air. I'm expecting Dak to throw it to CD quite a bit. I'm expecting Saquon to get used as he does, like per usual last year. I'm expecting AJ Brown to really expose that Dallas defense as well. I'm expecting a really high-scoring game, like a 34-24 Philly, or I do think Philly covers in this game. I think, I don't know. Dallas, can they win? 100%. But the raising the banner of their Super Bowl, I think Philly will be really focused, and it is so fucking hard to win at Lincoln Financial. It would be a huge scalp for Dallas to win week one there and absolutely kick off the NFC East. We'll quickly touch on my Panthers. They lost again, 0-3 in the preseason. We played Pittsburgh. We played at home as well. We already knew this beforehand. None of our starters played whatsoever. I did want to probably expect a bit more energy or a bit more firepower, I guess, after last week's really lackluster preseason performance against the Texans. Yes, I know it's preseason, but like Canales last week, he came out and said, we're just not executing the basics right. We just need to be better. And I would have thought, being your last game before week one, yes, the starters are not playing, which I found interesting, considering other starters played for other teams, that you'd want one more game to try and get your basics right. But I don't know, were we just completely looking ahead to week one and just go, yep, let's just focus on our starters and let's just try and get the basics right now? Not really show it in a game, but no, we're doing it in practice and we can prove it in week 1 in 2 weeks against Jacksonville. Time doesn't feel very much on our side here. The report's saying it's a positive camp and Bryce is throwing it really well and he's connecting with Tetaroa McMillan really well, and the backfield's looking really good and the wide receivers coming through is good. But we're all talking about the offense here, and we know the offense on paper can potentially perform, can exceed expectations, but we all know that the problem lies with the defense. And it's still not up to standard whatsoever. And I'm really scared about what Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Brenton Strange, ETN, Tank Bigsby, what all these guys are going to do on a hot, sunny Florida afternoon in week 1. Jeez, if you're looking for something to get on, I would be backing the overs for sure straight away, or even the -3. I think we absolutely get pounded into the ground. I've seen nothing from preseason. Yes, it's just preseason, but nothing from preseason to dictate that we are going to be competitive. And I hate saying that because I was quite optimistic to start the year, and they can easily prove me wrong. But I think week 1 is going to be a blowout, and I haven't looked at week 2. I'd say it's a division game. Division is a bit not weird this year, but I wouldn't say it's super strong. Tampa, they're going to be a playoff team, I believe, but they're not a strong playoff team. They're really good on their day. But we also know they're beatable. You've got Baker at QB, obviously. And then you've obviously got Atlanta as well. So Atlanta with Penix in his second year. He only just started for Atlanta late last year as well. So he's only got about 5 or 6 NFL games under his belt. They're expected to be a little bit better though. Drake London in his third year, he's expected to be better. Kyle Pitts, he's got to be better. He is one of the best tight ends talent in the league. He's got to be used more. It'll be really interesting to see how Atlanta use Bijan as well, with Pitts, with London, with Penix. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. I think they could upset Tampa week 1. Again, are they a potential playoff team? 100%. Will they make the playoffs? Maybe. Not. I don't think so. Like, that does leave a little bit of room for open for the Panthers potentially. If they want to be good enough and think they can be good enough, I think we can finish second in that division. Saints will finish last. I think we all know the Saints are like the highest odds to win the Super Bowl, to make the playoffs. They're going to really struggle this year. They got Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck at QB. Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave is about the only good things going around. But I just think they're going to really struggle this year. They'll easily have a top 3 draft pick for the year after. But it's going to be a long year for the Saints. As I said, that does leave the door open for the Panthers to try and compete. Whether they can, in Canala's second year of coaching the Panthers and Bryce Young's third year, is going to be interesting. Looks like we will be trading Adam Thielen back to the Vikings. The Vikings are going to give us a couple picks, which is good. Not confirmed what it is as yet. Probably know by either release of this episode or the day after. It is looking like we will be trading Adam Thielen back to the Vikings. So what that means for us, it means Tetairoa McMillan, he's going to go straight to wide receiver 1 as a rookie. He's our first round pick though. So I'm fully backing it. If he's obviously this good, then sure, let's make him the wide receiver 1. You got Xavier Legette as well. He's in his third year or second year, I believe. He's an up and comer. He's got something to prove for himself as well. He got ejected in the week 2 game, or week 1 game, I believe, in a fight. I know he's got something to prove. He won't do that again. He's a Carolina boy as well, through and through. And then Hunter Renfrow, he's really sneaky as well as our third receiver. And then you got Tommy Tremble at tight end as well. So, as I said, I'm optimistic about the offense. The defense is what is super concerning. We had a beautiful touchdown just before halftime against the Steelers on the weekend. There's about 20 seconds to go in the half before halftime. It's 10-10. Cool. That's what you want. Steelers get the ball back and they get one bloody play to throw it down the field. And Skylar Thompson, out of all quarterbacks, who was the backup to Tua a couple of years ago in Miami, throws this absolute bomb. And there's just no defense to be seen anywhere. Cool, 50-yard bomb down the field. Steelers back on our 20, 25-yard line. 3 seconds to go, spark it, timeout, field goal. They take the lead 13-10 at halftime. Again, I know it's just preseason, but it's just pathetic. That is just pathetic pass defense, and we can't be having that. You can't just be letting in like big plays and field goals like that on the stroke of halftime. It's absolute coach killer. It's an absolute momentum killer just to be going down 13-10 at halftime rather than 10-all just after you scored a touchdown to equalize it. It's just so frustrating. And I feel like it could be a frustrating year this year. As I said, I'm optimistic though. So, bit more news. We've had a couple more announcements with quarterback announcements. This one I am shocked about, to be honest. Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. All the reports, all the stories preseason, through training camp, after the last game last year was that Anthony Richardson will be the quarterback one, week 1 in 2025, coming up against Miami. Like, I'm pretty sure most people think this about Richardson compared to Daniel Jones, that the ceiling is so much higher for a guy like Richardson. He can take the Colts to the playoffs. He can get them a 10-7 win season. He might even get them 11 wins and 6. You just don't know how good this guy can be. We know his flair. We know he can run the ball. We know his accuracy is not that great though, and that's his downfall a little bit. He got injured in the week 1 preseason game, dislocated his pinky. But Daniel Jones, like, we've seen how much of Daniel Jones do we have to see before he's not a starting quarterback anymore? He was a starting quarterback for Giants for 4 or 5 years now. Made the playoffs in that 1 year. I think it was Brian Daboll's first year. He got coach of the year that year. But Jones just isn't that type of player. He's not the type of quarterback to take this team to potentially the playoffs or potentially to what, as I said, 10 wins or even 11 wins. It's anywhere between 4 wins to 8 now. That is the ceiling for Daniel Jones. Yes, I can agree on the fact that Daniel Jones or Danny Dimes might be able to slowly get the ball down the field a little bit better, a little bit more accurate with his 15 to 20 yard passes, probably because he's a bit more conservative. He's not as aggressive, but he just tries to get the ball, slowly down the field, and then whether they convert it in the red zone or not, that's another thing. But the offense completely goes stale, in my opinion, as soon as you put Daniel Jones at quarterback. You've got Jonathan Taylor at the backfield. You've got your Michael Pittman. You've got Josh Downs. You've got a couple good receivers there. But then you've got Daniel Jones passing the ball to them. And what do you say? Like I said, how much do we have to go through this year after year? And I was listening to a massive Giants fan and a podcast talk about Daniel Jones starting for the Colts. And he is, mortified. And no wonder, mortified at the fact that a team can trade and sign this player in the offseason and then start him in week 1, knowing exactly what you're going to get, knowing the results have been proven by the Giants previously. And we know, the Colts as a team on paper aren't much better than the Giants or can perform that much better with the Giants. What's he going to add to this Colts offense that's going to take him to the playoffs? What's he going to add to this team in general? Does this give a chance for Richardson to come back in week 5 if the Colts start 0-4 or 1-3? Or, do they feel that, if Richardson started the season at quarterback 1 and then they started slow, that they'd have to bench him for Daniel Jones and then that's the end of Anthony Richardson? No more coming back from that once you get benched for Daniel Jones. That's essentially happened in week 1, but he's got that little bit of lifeline there. If Daniel Jones does not perform up to standard, he will be straight in. He'll have a point to prove. I can honestly see the first game where Richardson starts the season, I think they'll clean up. He'll have a massive point to prove. He'll start running the ball. He'll start barging through people. He'll start throwing the long balls to Alec Pierce. They'll come off the 50-yard bombs. It'll be party time in Indianapolis for that one game. But then the next game could be an absolute blowout the other way. So that's the risk, as I said, that you get with Richardson. I think, but as I said, I just don't get it. So we'll see what happens with the Colts this year. They're in a really poor division. The AFC South is so weak this year. You got the Jags, who are going to be a little bit better. They're going to be pretty hot and fiery. The Titans got the number 1 draft pick at quarterback. Like, they're probably favorites to go from worst to best in this year out of all the teams in the league. But we've still got a rookie quarterback there for the Titans. And then you got the Texans. I actually do like the Texans this year. I like CJ Stroud. I like Nico Collins. I don't mind Joe Mixon. Nick Chubb, he's battered and a bit older now. He's coming off that awful knee injury. The defense for the Texans is going to be mint. Like, we're talking top 5, I think, by far. Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, this defense will be running around the whole field. I think they will win week 1 in Los Angeles against Stafford. I think they can easily stop Stafford. But going back to the Colts, like, I think they really did have a potential to try and win this division and get a playoff berth with Richardson at QB. So it puts a bit of a dent in the market value for the Colts this year and the expectation. So another starting QB is Joe Flacco for the Browns. So we did touch on the quarterbacks for the Browns a couple weeks ago. We kind of did know that Joe Flacco would be starting. It is now being confirmed. We've got a 40-year-old quarterback starting for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. They have 4 quarterbacks on their roster still at the moment. I don't believe they've done any roster cuts. From what I'm hearing, though, it does sound like they're going to keep all 4 quarterbacks on their team, being Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. I know they've just signed Snoop or Tyler Huntley a few weeks ago for preseason. I'd say one of them has to get cut. I think 2 of them should get cut. I believe that second one probably should be Kenny Pickett. He's been injured a bit in the preseason. I'm not sure when he's going to feature. I'm not sure what he's going to provide. He didn't do much for the Steelers. What's he going to do for the Browns? What's he going to provide more for the Browns? He's not good. Kenny Pickett's not good quarterback. I believe he should get cut or he should get traded to another team to be a quarterback. Browns all they need is 3 quarterbacks. They do not need 4. They do not need this headache every week if they start poor with Joe Flacco going, who's the next quarterback in line? Is it Kenny Pickett? He's healthy again. Is it Dylan Gabriel? He's somewhat healthy again and he's played one half of a preseason game. Is it Shedeur? Do we finally give him the chance? He played a half in the week 1 game. He played a little bit in the week 3 game as well. Very interesting to see what happens to Cleveland. Similar to Saints, they will be dog shit this year. Unfortunately, nothing new with Cleveland though. The Browns used to be so bad. We know they've had that 0-16 season before. We know they've had awful quarterbacks, awful coaches. Felt like Baker kind of turned things around a little bit there for them. The whole thing with Deshaun Watson in the last 2 years has just been absolute miserable and just an absolute fail. They finally got rid of him, but they're still going to be awful this year. They haven't got much going for them. I am truly under the belief Myles Garrett will get traded to the Buffalo Bills in about week 8 or week 9. I believe this will happen because Myles Garrett is arguably the best defensive player in the league. He is on a team that is most easily going to miss the playoffs. By week 8, they're probably going to be about 1-7 or 2-6. There's no point in him going to be there. He's going to get paid no matter where he goes. And we know that Buffalo, when it has come to the crunch time in the postseason, their defense has just not been quite brutal or good enough to win. I'll show them the win to beating Mahomes. They just cannot beat Mahomes in the playoffs. The Chiefs always get them come the postseason, and they're just not that good enough. And everyone says during the regular season, Josh Allen's a better quarterback. They've got the better offense. This is the year that the Bills are going to do it. They just don't seem to quite have that extra bit of firepower. I know they traded for Amari Cooper like mid-season last year to try and bolster their attack offense a little bit. Again, they lost in the divisional. In the AFC Championship game again to Kansas City. And what's us to think that the same won't happen this year unless they go for a big trade like Myles Garrett. If they have to give a first and a second, go for it. If you think that you're going to win the Super Bowl this year, 100% go for it. They'll be one of the best regular season teams this year. They've got a really easy schedule. They could easily finish at least worst 14-3 in my opinion. 15-2, 16-1 is easily on the cards. They'll absolutely batter teams this year. I will say they've got Baltimore week 1. So we'll see how they go in terms of that, and they'll really kickstart their season if they can get that early win. After Baltimore, easy as. They'll absolutely fly through the next couple months. If they do lose to Baltimore, they'll be 8-1 after their 9th game. So pretty high on the Bills this year, but I do believe Myles Garrett does have to be a trade target for Buffalo in mid-season this year. Quickly touching on other quarterback movements in the league. Carson Wentz, he was the backup for Mahomes the last couple of years. He's been traded back to, traded to the Vikings to back up McCarthy, which is super interesting. McCarthy in essentially his rookie year. We know last year he did his ACL, so he was a rookie technically last year, did his ACL in the preseason, has not played an NFL game. Yes, he is a national champion with Michigan as their quarterback a couple years ago. But we know, if you know ball, you know that McCarthy, that in that offense, he hardly passed the ball. He was handing off the ball all the time. So we haven't properly seen him in a really dynamic offense, which is going to be interesting to see. And we're talking about one of the best offenses in the league with one of the best coaches as well in Kevin O'Connell. You've got Justin Jefferson, probably the best wide receiver in the NFL, going with Chase. TJ Hockenson, he's an absolute talent as well. You got Aaron Jones at the back there. He's going to be awesome. The Vikings, they're going to look pretty good again this year, I think. If McCarthy can hold his own and just be accurate and just be the type of quarterback that they need, they'll be in the playoffs. Their division is so tough this year. The Bears are up and coming. The Packers are looking good. They've got to stay healthy, though, if Jordan Love can stay healthy in their receivers. And then, of course, you've got Detroit. So Detroit have smashed it the last couple of years. They lost in the championship game a couple years ago to 49ers. They lost in the divisional game last year at home to the Commanders, which was a huge upset. This year, they now have a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. That's going to be super interesting to see how, especially they start the season and with the new schemes that they have. I'm really intrigued to see how they go against Green Bay in week 1. Another trade that has just happened recently, just overnight as well. Brian Robinson Jr. from the Commanders. The backfield from Washington is now loaded. He didn't play he didn't play any preseason at all. There was rumored all preseason he was going to be traded, and that's exactly what's happened. He's landed at 49ers, which, come now that you think of it, was probably to be expected. Their running back field is absolutely battered at the moment. I believe Christian McCaffrey is the only healthy running back that they actually have at the moment, apart from Brian Robinson now. And to say that CMC is your healthiest running back at the moment, given his history of injuries and whatnot, is a bit concerning for the 49ers. And I also know they've got a guard that's injured, starting guard, and a starting safety as well. They've got week 1 against Seattle. They're actually -2.5 on the road in Seattle at the moment. Being in the same division, Seattle, home underdogs division game, week 1, they are looking pretty good for week 1. Their run game is going to be an absolute wagon. I think they can absolutely run through the 49ers in week 1. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't mind the trade of Brian Robinson, though. They definitely needed it for sure. Jackson Dart for the Giants. He played once again in week 3 of the preseason. Didn't play too much. Had a really nice touchdown pass in the first quarter. He's got to be the starter by midseason. This kid, he's going to be the franchise QB for the Giants from what we're seeing already. He looks dynamic. He's got control. He's got the poise. He's got time in the world to pass the ball behind a good line now. And like, if you're looking, depending on how the Giants' record is in 2 months' time, like if you're looking at 3-5 or 4-4, and you're not really going anywhere with Russell Wilson, why would you not look at the rookie Jackson Dart, who has been, in my opinion, killing it in the preseason? He deserves his shot this year. The Giants are not going anywhere this season. They would be ludicrous, stupid to not put Jackson Dart in at QB. I think he's going to be their QB for rest of the season from like week 8 for the next few years. He's got his rookie contract. He will be, I think he would definitely be the starter next year. Just has to be. Has to be. We haven't even seen the guy in the NFL field properly at the moment, but he's clearly got the talent, which is what the Giants are majorly needing. Him and Malik Neighbors will be an awesome duo. So I'm super excited and super intrigued to see how that will go this year for the New York Giants. Quickly touch, Chiefs, Mahomes, he played a few drives to start the game against the Bears. Had like a 121 rating, threw a couple TDs. Pretty good. Just get in, get the job done, what he needed, get the reps in. They were up hugely at 3/4 time. I believe they were up by like 17, and the Bears just came roaring back and won pretty much in the last play of the game. They won by, I think, 2. I think they won 19-0 in the last quarter or something ludicrous like that. Again, does not matter. It's preseason, but Tyson Bagent, was good to see him just stroll down the field. He's played really well the last couple of weeks. He's a really good backup to Caleb Williams, and he's just earned an extension, and he was really emotional about it. Like, good on him. You got to be happy for the kid. Good quarterback backup to have to Caleb Williams for this year, I think, definitely, in my opinion. One of the big talking points and something that I've thought about a lot to myself this preseason is a team, the Los Angeles Rams. And there's big ceilings that people are talking about, like Stafford's healthy, you've got Kyren Williams in the backfield, you've got Devontae Adams, you've got Puka Nacua, you've got a good defense, you've got Sean McVay. The division isn't too bad, you know, and they made the playoffs last year. However, Matthew Stafford has hardly been healthy this preseason. He's 37 years old with a disc back injury. Yes, the reports this week, the last week, is he's back at practice. He's finally back at practice. He's had 3 days of practice last week. That's his first practice he has had all preseason. This is your starting veteran quarterback. 37 years old, bad back, disc injury, and we are 2.5 weeks out from the first game against the Texans, and he's just starting to practice and get reps. 37 years old, back injury, just started practicing. In my opinion, Jimmy Garoppolo will play more games at quarterback than Matthew Stafford this year. I can't see where this is going for Stafford. He signed a huge contract to co-host a podcast called Let's Go. Like, read the room. Just if you're watching this, just think about this and just read the room a little bit. That if you're 37 years old, you're a quarterback, you've got a disc problem in your back. You just finally got to practice just over 2 weeks out from your opener. And now you've all of a sudden just signed a huge contract to co-host a podcast. Like, what's the priority here? Like, I would have thought if he was healthy, he was working hard, he's back at practice, he's not co-hosting a podcast. I think this will be the last year that we'll see from Matthew Stafford, which if he goes out injured, it's going to be really sad to see. But where do you see? I don't see how after 3 days of practice throwing some balls that everyone's declaring Stafford to suddenly be healthy again and all good. I just don't see it, and I fully expect Jimmy Garoppolo, their backup, to play more than 9 games for the Rams this year. I think he'll be playing. Yeah, I think he'll play 10. I just don't see Stafford playing that much. I think he looks like he'll play week 1, not confirmed yet. Like, you imagine Will Anderson pass rushing him in week 1 on prime time with a bad back. Let me just reiterate. 37 years old with a bad back, throwing a ball, getting hit by 130 kilo, 140 kilo defensive linemen. I would be signing a massive contract to co-host a podcast too. Like, smart by Matthew Stafford, looking ahead to the future. As I said, this will be, in my opinion, the last year that we will see from Matthew Stafford in the NFL. And I think it's going to be an injured way out, unfortunately. And I'm not expecting him to start this many games. I am expecting the Rams to miss the playoffs. The Rams will finish last in the NFC West. That is my big call for the year. I'm expecting Seattle, Arizona, and San Fran to all be better than the Los Angeles Rams in the 2025 NFL season. Going along with back at practice, just a quick one. Justin Jefferson is back at practice. He's been fighting a bit of a hamstring injury in the training camp. Looks like he'll be okay for week 1. He is so valuable to that offense. They've got the Bears week 1. It looks like he'll be healthy. It looks like he'll be okay. We know this kid is talented. You compare that to Stafford, and you might be thinking, oh, but Sam, why would you say that Stafford can't play this year but Justin Jefferson's going to be healthy? Justin Jefferson is about 25, 26 years old, and he's not got a back problem. I think he's going to be fine. But NFL season, 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away. Fantasy drafts happening all over the place. I believe there's one starting right now I've got going on while I'm recording. Thank God it's a slow draft. I've got another one starting tomorrow. I'm in the middle of another one at the moment, which is a slow draft. I've got Supercoach draft happening at the moment. There is so much fantasy and NFL Supercoach going on at the moment. I'm absolutely absorbing it all, and I'm absolutely loving it. Super interesting to see where all these different picks are landing and who's picking number 1 and number 2. Hopefully my mates are listening to this. I've got my mates fantasy league starting tomorrow. I've got pick 5 in a 12-person league. So I'm really intrigued to see who I'll probably be taking. It's going to be probably looking like a CeeDee Lamb or potentially Justin Jefferson. Maybe a CMC. I think CMC is really like a dark horse this year if he can stay healthy. But I am absolutely gassed. I'm so keen. It does not get any better. Supercoach, fantasy, your Monday morning, trying to beat your mates. Doesn't get any better than that. Right. Oh, God. I don't want to really... Rugby union. I'll start with the Wallabies first. They had the second week of the rugby championship over the weekend. We talked about the Wallabies' awesome win that they had last week against South Africa, coming back from 22-0 down. They won 38-22. The big thing was can they back it up? Was it just a fluke performance? Was it really bad by South Africa and they throw it away? Can they back it up again at South Africa? And look, the Wallabies, they went down 30-22. I wasn't able to watch. I watched the highlights. They were in this game the whole time, like pretty much all 80 minutes. Couple early penalty goals to South Africa, but a really good bounce back straight away. A really nice try on debut to Corey Toole off a really nice grubber kick. And they took the lead 7-6 early, and they were completely in it. O'Connor, he did miss a few kicks, unfortunately. Missed a couple penalties when it did matter right at the end to try and keep a minute. But again, when they looked down and out, they fought back. And with about 15 to 20 minutes to go, it was 23-22. And it took a Eben Etzebeth try in about the 70th minute to seal the deal for South Africa. And I think they have a lot to be proud of from their 2-week road trip in South Africa. Got one win and one loss. O'Connor missed a penalty at the end to get it within 7, which that bonus point for them is going to prove massive, I think. I'm just looking at the table now for Rugby Championship. They do sit second at the moment, on 5 points, with All Blacks at the top with 6. But if they got that kick, they're on 6. They're on 6 points. So they have actually the same points difference as the All Blacks as well. Going down with the table, so Aussie was second, as I said. South Africa are third. Well, you got South Africa and Argentina. They're both sitting at 4 points. They've both got one win, and they've both got one non-bonus point win and then one non-bonus point loss. So Argentina now come to Australia. They play a couple games. They will play in 2 weeks against each other, and then they'll play the weekend after again. And then, okay, let's get into the All Blacks. I did watch this game Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, and Argentina 29-23. And if I'm being completely honest, as I hate losing as an All Blacks fan, I hate it. Absolutely fucking despise it. Because I felt so gifted and so lucky when I was growing up that All Blacks are so successful, that losing was such a rarity, it felt like. That when I see these type of performances and I see us lose, I'm just like, oh, come on, boys, do better. But honestly, a full credit to the Pumas. I thought they fully deserved the win in this game. They played a lot harder than us. They just ran a bit harder. I've got the stats here. They were completely up in our faces. On defense, they completely rushed up on us. Didn't allow any sort of time for our backline to even get a little bit of space. I thought as soon as Will Jordan got the ball at fullback, they were right there in his face, ready to hit him. It was actually probably one of the worst games I've seen Will Jordan play, either ever or in a very, very long time for the All Blacks. Man could not catch a high ball to save his life, and as I said, he was just getting fully pressured up in his face as soon as he's got the ball. Which, I guess if you want to target Will Jordan, then that's the way to go. As soon as you give this kid an acre of space a little bit, he's gone. And he got really exposed under the high ball. He gifted really cheap possession back to the Pumas in our own 22. But, we're looking at post-contact meters. We're looking at Pumas 392 to 154. Completely shows how dominant they were running the ball and just how much ball they actually had. Uh, 7-1 line breaks, which is a really concerning part. 7 line breaks, conceding 7 line breaks is hugely concerning for our defense. It looks like we weren't pushing up too much. Looks like we were slipping off tackles. And then the 1 line break indicates that we weren't good enough on attack. To have 1 line break, which would have been off a try, I'd say. And then, like as I said, the Pumas were up in our faces all day. Gave us no time to try and spread the ball or pass the ball with really good efficiency. And yeah, like we had 3-2 tries and we still lost by 6. So Argentina did have 5 penalties and kicked both their conversions as well for their tries. But I just thought they played so much harder than us. All Blacks looked like they had a bit of a different game plan to last week, which was, really interesting to see because I was really happy with last week. And I didn't see any sort of kicking much from Bowden. It was just a bit of an off night. Sevu Reece, I thought he had a really poor game. Sevilla, he had a couple drop balls. He's always such a beast. He always runs so hard and tackles so hard. Just wasn't quite there. Just the little things which makes the All Blacks, and it just wasn't quite there. As I said, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but it's going to always be hard to win a game when you've got 3 yellow cards to none. Did I think the yellow cards were fair? I thought a couple of them were fair. Like you've got your Sevu Reece, like the knockdown, that's a yellow card as we've seen. And then we also had another one after Argentina scored a try and we conceded about 4 or 5 penalties in a row. Then we had another man in the bin. But, on the other side, the Pumas conceded 4 penalties in a row when we had the ball in their 22, stops the play, and the ref just gives them a little warning. How many penalties in a row do you have to give before you blow a yellow? Is it 5? Is that the threshold now? It seemed a bit easier for us to cop a yellow than they did, but I'm not using that as an excuse. We weren't good enough. I don't think we deserved it. Argentina played out of their skin. We even kicked the penalty goal in the 80th minute to get it back to 6 to get that bonus point, which is huge for us. But it feels so weird just saying that we kicked the penalty after the siren to salvage a point against Argentina. It's just weird to say. It's weird for me to say, and I hope in 2 weeks' time we can get back to normality in a way. We've got South Africa come play us. We've got 2 games against them. Eden Park, first game this year at Eden Park, the Garden of Eden, our absolute fortress. And then we've got Wellington as well. I'm pretty confident we'll bounce back for sure. We're generally good after a loss. My only concern at the moment is the injuries. The injuries are starting to pile up for the All Blacks, particularly at our number 9. Cortez Ratama, he started again. We talked about this last week, that we thought his performance just wasn't quite up to All Black standard for a starting 9. His passes just weren't quite there. Didn't look like he had quite adapted to the game plan that the All Blacks had. And 20 minutes into this game, he goes down with an injury. He is such a tough little bugger. I know he's a tough little bugger, but for him to go off, he was obviously super injured. And I never like to see an injury from especially a player on my team, let alone anyone playing sport. But it was a little bit kind of refreshing at the time knowing that Finlay Christie would be coming on. I really like Finlay Christie. I know my dad really likes Finlay Christie as well. He's got a lot to prove. He's a really good, go your ginger nut kind of thing. Just he's quick. And you can see his impact straight away. We scored a couple quick tries, and that try we scored in the corner by Fletcher Newell, I want to say. He was right there at the bottom of the breakdown, ready for that quick ball. And that's what you want to see from your number 9. And that's how we scored. That's how we put on the points. What was the quick ball? He sprinted over. He was there, ready for the release of the ball, and then passed it off straight away. Is it hard? Obviously, it's hard, but that's what we want to see more of. That's what the difference is between, I think, winning those games and losing those type of games, and we just didn't quite have it. So, injury-wise, update on Ratama. Does look like he's escaped a big injury. I don't believe he's going to be available for the first South African game in a couple of weeks. So, does look like Finlay Christie will get the start in a couple of weeks at Eden Park, which is exciting to see. I'm still really keen to see what he does. Cam Roygaard's still injured at the moment. He's not going to be back for the Rugby Championship, unfortunately. So, we'll just have to see. As I'm confident that we can get these 2 wins at home. Very intrigued to see how South Africa do play us. They've had, same as us, 1 win, 1 loss like everyone has. But I don't think they've been up to their standard that they know of, being back-to-back World Cup champions. They've been dethroned of their number 1 world ranking. I believe we talked about that last week as well, that the All Blacks for, since 2021 have not been world number 1. Before that loss, they'd finally gotten back the world number 1 ranking, which is where we're meant to be and where we have been for years and years. So it made me feel a bit of peace of mind. And then the peace of mind of the world number 1 rugby union team in the world does that shit on the weekend. And yeah, that's just, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you thought of that game. Because it really was subpar. Really expecting a better performance. Alrighty, that pretty much covers the sporting news around the globe at the start. Most of the news is covered there. Now, guys, that will do it for another episode of the Squishy Sports Podcast. Hope you all really enjoyed it. Covered all the latest sporting news around the globe. Thoughts on my Warriors. Thoughts on the All Blacks losing to the Pumas. Also, obviously, covered your NRL and NRLW rounds. And don't forget my Women's Player of the Week, Paige Beckers, from a rookie from the Dallas Wings in the WNBA. Full credit to her. I'll be giving a bit of a shout out on my Instagram and TikToks. You'll see that during the week. Keep an eye out for more reels and stuff during the week as well. I really appreciate the support I've had so far. I've had so much fun doing this, and I can't wait to see you guys all again next week.